Hello, Internet. Hi. Hi.
Yay.
A flawless start to a new Let's Play, actual play type thing. Hi. Hi. I'm DM Dan. I'm the professional that runs things around here. Hi. Yeah, hope you're all good. Welcome if you're watching live, or welcome if you're watching after the fact. If you're watching after the fact, then you'll have no inkling that anything went disastrously wrong, which it didn't, because we're professionals. Hi, we're here, we being the Explorers of Elsewhere, here being the internet, to play some Daggerheart. There's a little new adventure in there. Aren't we all excited?
Yes.
So excited.
Yeah.
And we being, well, I've already said hello. Hi, I'm DM Dan. But joining me tonight, we have Theo. Hi. We have Nate. Hi.
Hello.
Hello. We have Livy. Hi.
Hello.
And we have Dan. Hi.
Ahoy.
Ahoy, indeed. So a little while ago, we went to do a stream to talk about the new adventure path that was being released for Daggerheart, and then it didn't release until after the stream was scheduled. So we thought we'd cut out that gaff and we'd just cut straight to it and actually play the damn thing. There were some excited squeakings from you lot when you heard that there are certain modes of transport available in this adventure.
Yeah.
Excited or
Terrified.
Yeah, there's they always seems like such a romantic idea, this mode of transport that this adventure revolves around, and then it inevitably, well, spoilers, it inevitably goes wrong. But what?
Go wrong?
It never goes wrong. Like, I don't think in any D&D campaign ever a party has successfully gotten on a boat and not been attacked by the Kraken. You know, like...
Yeah, but this is fine because we're going to be in the air.
Yeah. It's,
There's no
yeah.
krakens in the air.
There's no air Krakens, that's fine. So, if this is your first time watching us play, welcome. Thank you for joining us. This is actually like the second adventure, mini adventure that we've done earlier on during the Daggerheart playtest that the chaps and chapettes at Darrington Press released. We ran through that adventure, the Sablewood Messengers, which was kooky.
Whimsical.
It was certainly whimsical.
a little whimsy.
A little whimsy, yes.
Just a little whimsy.
Yes. Made Wild Beyond the Witchlight look like All Quiet on the Western Front.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're looking forward to playing this new adventure. Just a quick kind of recap, I guess. And I think we will do a little bit of this, just to set the mood. So, if this is your first time, you may not have seen anyone play Daggerheart before. So Daggerheart is a tabletop RPG similar to the ilk of Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, powered by the Apocalypse games, so on and so forth. It primarily uses a 2d12 dice mechanic, where in lieu of, say, D&D rolling a d20, you roll 2d12. But in this game, whilst the 2d12s are added together, one die represents hope and one die represents fear, and depending on which is higher, your roll will be with hope or with fear, which may then have some kind of knock-on effects after the fact. It helps to kind of diversify the results of a dice roll. The setting is traditionally quite high fantasy, with a smidge of whimsy, but yeah, if you're au fait with Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder, this should feel quite kind of similar to you, but with a more focus on kind of narrative direction and embellishment for the stuff that we do. Will we agree with that?
I agree
Yeah.
with that.
Narrative forward.
Narrative forward, yeah. So, just to get back in the swing of things, we have 4 adventurers. When we last met them, they had travelled through the impossibly large and dense Sable Woods. A canopy so thick you were unable to see the time of day from the sky above. You stopped off at a small little village that was just about to host a sort of like first day of harvest festival, and you were in fact on a mission from King Emrys of Capital City to deliver this package, this large wooden crate, to a resident of the village called the Whitefire Arcanist. She turned out to be a fairy sorceress of sorts, and after sort of like burning some time at the tavern to rest and recuperate, you joined the Arcanist in empowering this stone, which you found out was a stone of kind of defense, like a runic stone that formed part of the gates of Capital City, and without a fully functioning suite of powered keystones, the city was magically defenseless, which was a bit of a surprise for some of you, but it really kind of underpinned the importance of the mission. After successfully aiding the Whitefire Arcanist in completing this ritual, you returned to a hut to find that the magic had certainly taken a toll on her, but she informed you that there were other that there are like a number of spires that act as defense wards, and one of them was kind of flickering and failing, and that perhaps, given that you're now you've dealt with this keystone, you might preoccupy yourself with looking into that for the security of the kingdom. So that's enough about the adventure. Who are the adventurers? So we were all picking up the same characters that we played in the first run, just slightly leveled up. So let's start with you, Theo. Who was your player character?
So I'm playing Professor Twig Holloway. He's a little goblin professor man.
Yes.
Kind and nervous and a bit tired. Very into his arcane. Very kind of like that, like shy dad kind of type. That's the way I'm going with it. And yeah, and surprisingly quite a powerful wizard, as we saw in the previous campaign.
Murderous wizard.
A murderer.
He can certainly cast fire at people. So, which he didn't realise he could. Well, I wouldn't say he didn't realise he could do, but he didn't realise the extent of the power and the emotion behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he cares a lot about making sure that they're doing the right thing, and making sure that, like, he was like the key figure in dealing with the package, and he was the one who kind of arranged the team with the help of Ruby.
Yes.
Yeah, so all good.
Amazing. Yes, we figured out that Twig was in fact like the contact from King Emrys, and one of the underlying questions that you had to ask yourself is, why me? Why did he choose you for seemingly such an important mission? But okay, yes, that is a question that has as of yet gone unanswered, but we will see how that pans out in future adventures. Next up, hi Nate. Who is your delectable little character?
I am playing Ruby Chanterelle. She is a fungal sorcerer, and yeah, she's pretty neat. She is mostly an air elemental, so she does a lot of the sweeping of arrows made of air, and is just like a little bean, really. It's a little bean.
Little
Just a little guy. Little fungi.
Yeah, she's just a little fungi.
Fair enough, fair enough. So yeah, whilst Twig is a wizard, you are a sorcerer. And yeah, they certainly feel a bit more differentiated than they might do in other tabletop RPG role-playing games.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair. Very good, very good. Next up is Livy. Who is this mysterious stranger you're playing as?
Greg.
Okay.
Greg, no last name, just Greg. Is a ribbit / frog. He's a rogue. He's a geezer. He's just your regular little frog man.
Wag.
He goes around. He's got a gift of the gab. He knows everyone. Knows everyone's business. He has a special arm, which is great. He's only got. We are unknown why he has one arm. That hasn't been revealed yet. And
Well, is it one arm or one hand?
well, it's one hand. Well, it's like forearm, I guess.
Sure.
There. So yeah, he's just a little,
He's
another
Greg,
little guy.
he's Greg the Freg, isn't he?
He's just Greg the Freg.
Just good old Greg the
Yeah.
Freg. Okay, very good. With his box of hands.
With his box of hands.
And last but not least, certainly if we are judging these characters by sheer girth and weight, PC Dan, who is your behemoth of a character?
Well, unlike the Smalls that I have for companions,
Yes.
I am playing Goru Simos. He is a Galapa Guardian subclass stalwart. So a lot of his shtick is all based around protection, tanking, guarding his allies. So a lot of his personality is all around a bit of a caretaker, I think. It's probably for lack of a better word. He's always been quite isolated in his sea-based regions of his original home place. But now on his adventures, he's starting to understand this big world out there, despite his love for the nature around him. He's absorbing new information, but very grounded, down-to-earth creature who just wants to look out for those that he cares about.
Absolutely, yes. I kind of get the feeling that most of the player characters in this group are like the dad of the party, even Ruby, but for different reasons.
Yeah, I think I'm a very different dad than Theo is, for sure. I think Greg is separate spectrums of dad.
Yes.
Party of dads.
But we all know a dad like Greg, especially Theo.
Marvelous.
Thanks.
So yes, they are our player characters. I reckon it's as good as time as any to jump in and see what this new venture has to hold for us. So, we rejoin you four. Like a day later, a day after your adventures, a day after parting ways with the Whitefire Arcanist in her hut just outside of the village in the Sablewoods. And you, off the back of the conversations that you had with her after the ritual, you know that you've been your next kind of step after her kind of revelations. You need to seek a rare and magical component to help repair the capital city's wards, which you know are currently not fully functioning, therefore leaving capital city prone to attack. We find you specifically at the top, like on a platform, a large wooden platform built on one of the gargantuan outstretched branches of this impossibly large tree, which bursts out of the canopy of the sable woods. And the platform, the tree itself hollowed out in such a way to provide like spiral staircases, places to rest out on like branches further down the tree. But the platform you're now on now functions as what is effectively the dock, the boarding dock for passing airships. And around you can see that there are a number of other people of all like ancestries, all kind of excitedly chattering to each other, some carrying luggage, some not, some looking like they're on important business, some looking like they're just trying to get some time away to, you know, view some new horizons. But there's certainly a sense of excitement buzzing around you all. And this particular ship that you've booked passage onto, thanks to the connections of the Whitefire Arcanist, you're fundamentally getting free pass to be on this ship. You've not had to pay for tickets like all of the other people you see around you, because you found out that the ship in question, the RAS Windfall, the Royal Airship Windfall, the security complement of the ship has been recently reassigned, and the Windfall is due to pick up replacements for her security at the Kinnikozan Jags, a area outside of the Sable Woods, and this has provided a kind of fortuitous opportunity for you all to travel without paying for the room and board that you would otherwise have to, on the proviso that you, as off the back of the recommendation of the Whitefire Arcanist, on the back that you serve as the ship's security for the duration of the journey. The journey to the Jags, if you had gone on foot or if you had gone on horseback, would have taken about a week at least, whereas as travelling to the Jags as the crow flies would only take you 2 days aboard this air freighter. And as you sort of like you hear the excitement around you kind of bubble up more and more, as slowly, almost lazily, through the cloud cover overhead comes this sizable frigate, and it's clearly built for cargo capacity without sacrificing its speed or weaponry. The ship soars through the sky like the most graceful of birds, sails billowing as topsfolk climb and swing along between the 3 upward-facing masts and the 2 masts that emerge from the side, one on the port and one on the starboard. And as the chatter around you builds and grows, this ship begins to slow. You can hear Twig and Ruby especially, you can feel this sort of like magical hum that radiates from the ship as it slows its descent to this dock. And before long, the ship comes to a stop, kind of hovering gently at the end of this dock, and you see a number of the crewmates on board begin to start kind of throwing ropes off to anchor the ship to the branch of this tree. So my first question to you all is, how many of you have travelled on an airship before?
I don't think Twig has. I think he's read about it and he's seen them, but I don't think he's. I think he's very much been a capital city boy through and through. so he hasn't really ever left the capital.
Sure.
So yeah, I think this is a first time, and the vibration is not just the excitement about the arcane; it's the excitement about being on an airship for
Right.
him, for sure.
And the other three of you, did I see shakes of heads?
Yeah, I don't think Greg would have ever wantingly got on an airship.
Okay, that's fair.
Air
Goru's
travel is not made for frogs.
Goru's been a bit of a village boy, hasn't he?
It's more of Goru's trying to understand the concept of how this could even fly. How is a ship that's meant for water flying in the sky? And he's just there like,
His little brain.
Well, given that you grew up on sort of like a coastal village, so
Yeah.
sea vessels have been a
Yeah.
very important part of your life. How do you think this thing flies? Like, you can see the masts across the top
Yeah.
and sides. It looks sort of like a ship, just floating.
it can. I think through Goru's mind, he sees these masts coming off the sides of the ship. So his first thought is, birds flap wings. So maybe this boat just goes flapping its wings.
The entirety of everyone just goes up and down. Up and down.
Like he's obviously, especially because of his past experience, he's seen big things fly. He's just not seen a boat fly across the sky. So he's kind of like, well, those must be its wings. I think everyone can tell that Goru's just so puzzled by this giant ship that can fly.
Sure. Okay, and sorry, Ruby, you've never been on an airship?
No, I think even though obviously her elemental magic is air, I think she's more leaning towards more natural air, like things that naturally are meant to fly, not big ships.
Yeah.
And I think also being fungal as well, she's quite keen on keeping her little feet on the ground.
Sure, that's fair enough. Well, out of if any of you would like to make any skill rolls to see what you may or may not know about the ship, sort of like airships in general, or the RAS Windfall specifically in front of you. I mean, given that you are a capital city boy, Twig, you most likely would have heard of the very recent creation of the RAS Windfall, and you do know, like you have heard, that the engine that powers it, is like a new invention. So it's effectively one of the first ships of the line that uses this new type of engine, known as a silver engine. But effectively the Windfall's just being kind of stress tested to then see if this silver engine can get rolled out across the rest of the fleet. But yeah, if there's anything else you want to, if you fancy rolling some bones, feel free.
I feel Twig certainly will want to understand as much as he can about it as an arcane piece of technology. And with his level up, one of his experiences is like, I know my stuff. Like he's trying to build more understanding on arcane.
Sure.
So yeah, hoping to roll as much as he can understand on how the silver engine works. So I'm okay just to roll.
Yeah. Which like stat are you using? Which ability? Which skill?
Well, I was going to use my let me bring up my sheet. I mean, it'd be knowledge, which would be a +2, and then do I add my experience on top, or is that something completely separate?
Given that you know your stuff, you spend a hope to add the experience. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so it'd be a +2 instead.
Cool. In which case, yeah, give me a knowledge. And so in Foundry here, you've got it. What happens when you roll a? Oh, that's a crit, isn't it?
That's a crit
That's a crit.
success.
Crit, yeah.
First roll.
You're
first
actually
roll.
the captain of the airship.
And it's a crit success.
You now own all airships.
Yeah. You in
are
fact,
the airship.
yes. The airship looks
So-
like you. Is
You are one with the airship.
okay. So a crit.
So
there we
yeah, that
are.
would be a 13 with crit, I guess.
Okay, amazing. So, as this ship kind of rolls in, and like you can see the people, like the common folk beginning to kind of board, and you can see the crew kind of checking tickets and boarding passes and whatnot. So what you know, I mean, you basically know it all. So King Emrys's Royal Navy includes a small but growing fleet of skyships, and the freshly commissioned RAS Windfall is the crown jewel of that fleet. The Windfall is a state-of-the-art frigate with a unique magical engine invented by the artificer Melandra Silver. The silver engine both keeps the ship aloft and propels it through the sky. And Silver and the Navy are all very protective of this new technology, hoping to be able to implement it across the fleet if the Windfall proves its worth. The Windfall's commander, Captain Augustus Kane, is a nobleman from a minor family who has developed a reputation for maintaining discipline and driving his troops to incredible feats of gallantry, and was awarded this post after a victorious skirmish with a legendary pilot, Calliope Crimson.
Say that 3 times fast.
Yeah, Calliope Crimson. I can't even say it once, let alone fast. Cool. I mean, it's just the kind of knowledge you would have heard about Ben, like just trying to, in terms of roleplay, I guess, would have heard around like the wizards and artificers back in the lowborn community that he's in, of like little whispers and rumors, and enough that it's like solidified as actual fact with certain people, I guess. Yeah.
So,
Can I ask if Twig would know Silver at all, or would it be way above his pay grade?
off the back of a crit, you tell me.
Oh God. Okay. Interesting. I feel like it's very possible that Twig has done work for Silver. Then, very much more magical admin, which is what he's been doing for a long time.
Sure.
But yeah, it would make sense then.
So you
Why he would know
know,
all this information.
in which case, yeah, you know that Melindra Silver is this very, very busy elven woman, and what you most likely would have found very something you would have noticed about her being in her presence is that the exterior really is one of like a calm demeanor, but like you can see it in her eyes that she's constantly toiling over like 3 different problems all at the same time. Like she's coming up with multiple solutions for multiple problems whilst facading it behind a face of relative calm. And yeah, it's quite odd to see it, but it's also surprisingly heartening just to see someone with like so much of a grip on their world on what's going on in their head, kind of thing. Yes, it probably would have been a while since you saw Melandra, if only because you know that Melandra has been on the Windfall, has been stationed to the Windfall to ensure that the silver engine is like ticks over properly. You knew it was her kind of crowning achievement. The last thing she would want is for it to literally crash and burn. So, presumably off the back of a crit, is Twig like excitedly telling everyone all of the like airship knowledge that he's picked up?
Absolutely, he is waxing lyrically about everything.
Amazing.
Yeah, he's definitely like sharing with everyone. I know people have just bounced, so but for the sake of the people who've just returned, Twig is telling everyone excitedly about what he knows about the Windfall and what he understands, and how wonderful Silver is from memories of working with her in the capital.
Amazing. Okay, and like this gushing from Twig is what accompanies you as the four of you move to like head up onto the ship itself, and you can see that the ship has, it looks like it's got 3 decks, so like the main deck with the poop deck slightly above it, if you count that as its own separate deck. Then there's like an internal deck, and then there's the sort of like the cargo hold, the brig of the ship. So yeah, size wise it looks like about the size of a seaborne frigate. And as you move up onto, like head up the gangplank onto the ship itself, you see off to the left, stood on the sort of the edge of the poop deck watching everyone board, on the foredeck stands Captain Augustus Kane, a broad-shouldered human with a growing reputation for both valour and efficiency. You see from his barked orders to the crew that he leads them with a grace and ease, with louder orders being assisted by the Orc first mate to his left-hand side, Lieutenant Commander Kaless Shorehand, who is a hulking statuesque Orc woman, whose gaze never always seems to land on points of interest with purpose, as she commands the crew, aiding her captain, Augustus Kane. And I reckon we're just going to go ahead. Before long, there are cries and shouts from the crewmate as they begin unrigging the ship, and with an order from the captain, there is a lurch from the Windfall, and you move away from the branch of this large tree and begin drifting off. Goru, you watch the masts like impatiently, and they never actually start flapping as this thing begins gaining height. And I assume the other 3 of you see Goru's brow furrow as he tries to figure out how this thing is going up. But let's just scroll out for the viewers. We find ourselves on the deck of the RAS Windfall. So yes, you see a number of like crewmates going about busying themselves with jobs. You see clusters of commoners kind of chatting to each other and excitedly like standing at the railings and peering down at the canopy of the Sablewoods below, which is now slightly desaturated in colour thanks to the cloud cover, like the mistiness that rolls underneath you. And as I say, up on the top deck, I'm going to grab one of you to move up there for the camera. You see Commander Kane and Lieutenant Commander Kales, just kind of watching everything from the poop deck. The ship's magical engine produces a constant low hum that fades from notice of most aboard after a few hours. A few other passengers come and go from watching the skies on the deck to the passenger area below deck, which includes a common area, a small galley, and your rooms. The sailors, you notice, have given you somewhat of an icy reception, seemingly not pleased to have adventurers serving as their security rather than fellow sworn soldiers. And in your first few hours on the ship, you've been forcefully instructed that you're forbidden to go to the engine deck or the brig. But as one of the crewmates, forcefully tells you this, the brashness is interrupted by this dark-skinned elf with thick curly hair who, come now, these are our guests. You shouldn't be so brash with them. And Twig, you turn and see Melandra. And she smiles to you.
Oh, didn't expect to see you, Miss Silver. Don't know if you remember me. I've worked with you occasionally back in the city. It's been an honor to be on your ship. Thank you for having us.
She smiles. Don't you worry. I remember you, Professor Twig.
Good.
It's you're quite a way away from home. The chances of bumping into you here are quite surprising.
Yes. First time leaving the capital, actually. Went on an errand, but enjoying the freedom a little.
She smiles. Well, you chose the right airship to fly on. The Windfall is one of the greatest accomplishments of the kingdom, if I do say so myself. And I'm thrilled that you're here to enjoy it as well.
I feel like Twig will also introduce his friends and explain how they know each other and gesture to each one to introduce themselves.
The elf kind of nods to you each in turn. And are you kind of explaining your little adventure that you've had in the Sablewoods? She would ask if she'd be very interested to hear it if you're offering.
Right, guys. How private do we think this adventure is? Like, have we I'm just trying to figure out the vibe of the team. Have we decided that it's like something we're proud of and we're sharing, or is it something like we're kind of not sharing?
Well, I'm guessing because it's regarding sort of like the security of the kingdom, whether or not we should really talk about it.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's a
We don't know.
basis.
Like, I'm sure she's
No.
fine, but we also don't know who's listening in, so.
I mean, not that Goro would have any comment on that, but I agree. Like, the above table, that is like a high security situation. There's no problem embellishing on certain parts of the adventure and sort of like a white lie per se, or maybe an overview, but not any specifics about the actual thing we were dealing with.
Sure.
So you were delivering something to the Whitefire Arcanist on request of the king, like, and just kind of leaving
Yeah.
it there. Fair.
Yeah.
Fair
We didn't know what it was. Didn't ask.
Yeah,
We're told not to look.
Mel-
yeah, it's true.
Melandra kind of nods, and she she doesn't look like she suspects anything from your story. She, I mean, Twig, you would kind of know for a lady in her kind of position right now, like missions and directives from, say, the king, wouldn't be all that unusual. So she just acknowledges that sometimes you do stuff for the king because the king tells you to. In which case, well, yeah, as you're embellishing on your adventure, tell you what, which we'll go around the houses. Goru, what bit of the adventure are you hyping up to Melandra? Like what one
I
bit?
think if his attention's taken away from the unflapping wings of the ship itself,
Yeah.
he might embellish the quirky nature of the journey itself, as in the like going through the forest, experiencing new environs, and coming up across this very happy and welcoming town, which can in itself be quite unsettling. But Goru very heartily just probably explains that it was a wonderful experience, and the townsfolk, they were so welcoming. It kind of threw me off guard, to be honest. But it was rather nice. Especially that... Who was that barmaid again who was very loud? I can't remember her name.
The dwarven woman
Yeah.
at the tavern. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so you recount the townsfolk of the village.
Yeah, the small things rather
yes.
than the big things.
No, absolutely. Ruby, what bit are you regaling her with?
I think I'm going to regale her with First Moss and talk about how we actually got like super involved with Last Moss. Like we did like the arm wrestling, we did the stone painting, maybe even talk about Loud Dwarf Lady's ale as well. So yeah, that's what Ruby's gonna do. Obviously make it sound like we were involved with Last Moss a lot more than we actually were.
Sure. And Greg, what story are you weaving?
How he single-handedly took down a whole load of bandits. Definitely nobody else helped. Absolutely did it all by himself. Apart from his new bestie, who set fire to everyone. And just draws in Twig for a big old hug, and you're... I was going to go Bristolian then. Oh no, I'm stuck in Bristolian.
Ray Winston, Danny Dyer.
Schlag. Right, yeah, my so that's my going inward. So yeah, he's just telling. Well, he's begrudgingly telling because the whole time he has one hand gripped, well, his mechanical hand gripped onto the railing of the airship, pretending that he's definitely not absolutely terrified, as he's chain smoking a cigar, just shaking the entire time,
Sure.
trying to just keep it together. Because he is absolutely hating it. Yeah.
Okay, very, very good. And last not least, Twig, what part of the adventure are you retelling?
I think for Twig, he regales the quirky nature of the Whitefire Alchemist herself, and
Yes.
like how
A rather
fascinating he found her.
voluptuous
her world.
bumblebee lady.
Yes, the Bumblebee
Honey.
Lady indeed. Yes. And I think just like admiring how she, you know, kind of kept things like her, like the way she utilizes magic and etc. I think he would wax lyrical about that.
Sure.
How he found her fascinating.
So, with that in with that in mind, she looks genuinely kind of interested and kind of excited for you as you kind of retell your stories. Well, I'm hoping that this your time on the Windfall will be exciting for a different reason than. Well, it will be just as exciting, but hopefully not as dangerous as what you were getting up to in the Sable Woods. As my crewmate here so unceremoniously put it, if due to the delicate nature of the silver engine, the brig and engine deck are off limits, but everywhere else on the ship is absolutely fine. So this, obviously, the deck here, the poop deck, the captain's quarters obviously are off limits as well, but the deck underneath this one is free for you to travel upon. Just avoid going to the deck beneath that. If you want, I can give you a tour if you care to follow me.
Oh, lovely.
Yes.
One
And
question.
yes, dear.
Why aren't the wings flapping?
Melandra, like, she looks at you slightly confused, like her mouth open, as she's trying to sort of like suss out why you would ask. Like, because obviously for her it's just cut and dry. So, like, she's kind of wordless in that moment in your kind of naivety. And then she very quickly, like, she glances down at you, Twig, and then she cottons on, and, well, I couldn't tell you. State secrets and all. But and then she steps in and like she like puts her hand up to her mouth to like dramatically whisper, but it is magic.
That explains it all. It makes so much more sense now.
And
Thank you.
she nods, she titters. Please follow me and I'll show you to your rooms, she says. And she makes her way across the deck towards so there's a set of doors underneath where the captain and first mate are talking, and you may freely join her.
Whee!
Oh, do you have to drag your token?
And
Token has been dragged into darkness.
so she if you let's just move. So you head through the door underneath sort of like the observation deck where the captain and the first mate are, and you find yourself in a somewhat narrow room. There's a staircase down immediately in front of you, and you notice that there are two doors kind of either side. One of the doors appears to be kind of guarded by one of the crewmates, and Melindra says to you, so these doors are heads to the captain's quarters, so make sure you don't go in through there, but the below deck can be found down this staircase, she says, and she heads down.
I guess we follow suit.
Yeah.
as you begin to emerge at the bottom of the stairs. She kind of gestures to you, and like the hum that you could hear is slightly louder down here, but she kind of points to you, like the room is relatively well lit by kind of hanging lanterns and the like, and you can see a number of doors on either side. So she says, you can find everything, well, pretty much everything you need to find here. So just up ahead is the dining area. This is where the majority of our guests will be dining. If you do oversleep, then you can certainly have a meal with our crewmates, but they can get a bit feisty at times, she says, smiling at the crewmates that are currently kind of moving around setting up the tables. At the far end of the corridor, she says, pointing at the door at the far end, that's the cockpit. That is where our navigators steer the ship to its destination. There are a number of kind of bathrooms and lavatories here, as well as some of the rooms for the as well as, most importantly, your rooms, she says, and she points to the two doors either side, here and here. She does look at you for a moment, and she looks a bit pensive. Due to space on the ship, given that they are our kind of luxury suites, I'm hoping you don't mind that they're double beds. But I'm sure that between the four of you, you can figure out who's topping and who's tailing.
Surely it'll be the three smalls in one bed and Grog.
I was literally thinking the same thing. Grogu's so Grogu? Oh, Goru. So
Goru,
big.
who's sharing with Goru?
Like he would take the whole bed with his chef. But Goru's like probably would like say as well. He's used to sleeping on the floor, shell in all. So I don't mind giving up a bed if need be.
Oh, thank you very much. Ruby goes.
Okay, so in which case, yeah, as Ruby pushes on past you,
Let me out.
Ruby might notice a slight blush on Goru, but it does. Goru being quite open like a book, it's more the case he's worried about breaking the bed due to his heaviness than anything. So he's I'm happier in my shell. You have the bed, Ruby.
Melandra Melandra just takes a step back to allow you all to kind of to hash it out. But like once she has your attention, she walks back to sort of like that kind of common area. Now, some of the crew, well, the crewmates will be working obviously while we're in transit. You'll find, so there are a number of sort of like workshops to either side here, and some of the mechanics for the ship's defences and the like. If you are finding yourself a bit peckish, the door just on the other side of the stairs that you came down, that leads to the kitchen. So if you're feeling a bit peckish, I'm sure Chef would be able to rustle you something together. As per our requests, these two stairways to the left and right here, here and here, they leads down to the brig and the engine deck. So we respectfully ask that you allow that is a no passengers area. We need the crew to concentrate to ensure a fluent, a problem-free use of the engines. But otherwise, please feel free to make yourselves comfortable. And if you need me, I'll be at the front of the ship. And with that, she heads back upstairs. Disappears. So, what did the four of you do?
I go straight to the engine room now.
Yeah, I think does Greg still seem a bit
Uneasy.
yeah.
Not happy
Is
at
it
all.
less?
He's barely made it downstairs.
Is it less problematic now you can't see the sky?
I think he's still very acutely aware that he is flying.
Okay.
And yeah, it's not something he's very comfortable with. He's comfortable as an amphibious being. He is very comfortable in both water and land, and that's enough. That's enough. That's two things. You don't need to add a third. And he's not happy with being in the air and being vastly out of control, or
Sure.
not being out of control of the situation at all. So yeah, not a happy bunny, or frog, should I say?
Yeah, I guess it Guru might pick up on that, and if it's okay, Guru might approach, and say to Greg, "Are you all right, Greg?"
Do I look all right? Do I look bloody all right? We're in the air. Why are we in the air? Why is it called the Windfall? Like, are we going to fall out of the sky? Like, why would you call it the Windfall? That's like what apples do when they fall out of the sky. Why would you name it after falling out of the sky? We're all going to die. Why are we going to die?
Mid that, Guru would put a gentle finger on Greg's shoulder, and he would respond, "You make a good point, but try to breathe. Not
I am breathing.
Not through this.
I am breathing.
Through your nose and your mouth. Slowly. You've got this. We are all in the same boat." And he looks around. Together. I know you will be all right in this. We've got each other's backs. And I would like to, seeing this is a once per long rest ability, complimenting him, I am able with a soldier's bond feature, by complimenting or asking them something they're good at, both me and Greg can both take 3 hope.
Oh, I hate
How you
that.
compliment
In
me?
hopes
What-
to
what am I gonna
inspire him to calm down a bit.
Okay.
Hoping to instill some hope.
So, in which case, yeah, you watch as So, Greg, are you accepting the advice?
What if you're all right? We're not going to die. Like what?
The
Very
breathe
matter
in,
of fact,
breathe
I
out.
think
I'm
it's a good
imagining
idea.
that cigar
in.
just.
Breathe it. Yeah.
Okay, so Greg and Guru up to 5 hope.
Thanks, Dan.
You're welcome. Might as well use it now, ready for any time you need to use it.
One of there's a nearby crewmate that's just sort of like tidying up some crates off to the side, and kind of overhearing the conversation, he looks over his shoulder and says, "Don't worry, I've been in an airship crash before. It's not all it's not all that bad."
Greg just looks at him.
Yeah.
What?
So-
Do they crash on a regular basis? All the time?
Well, I mean, they say, he says, picking his nose, They say that if you can walk away from a ship after it's landed, that's a great landing. If the ship can take off again, that's an even better landing.
Greg gets another cigar out. Starts again.
Don't worry. I'm sure this is probably the safest means of travelling.
No, that's my feet. My feet is the safest means of travelling, mate. Or swimming,
Not when
anything.
you encounter dangerous people on the road.
And Greg just starts scouring for alcohol.
Okay, so whilst the two kind of amphibian reptoids are doing their thing, Ruby, Twig, what are you up to?
I feel like Twig is still potentially blushing after the discussion about the beds, but is then trying to avoid that conversation and just like, I don't know, he's trying to busy his brain with like other things and not quite. I think he wants to talk to Ruby, but he also doesn't know how to talk to Ruby after their last conversation.
Ruby, seeing
like
this, is going to go over to Twig while he's sort of trying to not pay attention to anything, and she's just going to go, "You're blushing."
Am I? Oh, yeah. Well,
It's all right. I thought I would intervene with the uncomfortable situation. Don't worry.
yes. Yeah.
Besides, I get a
didn't
whole bed
really-
to myself now. Yay!
Yes. No, that's very good. Better that way anyway. You know, you deserve the bed. I'm not good at this. I just wanted to enjoy the airship. Oh goodness. Sorry.
I mean,
I'm not used to
you
this
can
sort of
still
talk.
enjoy the airship
I
and the
will.
bed with
I will.
Greg.
Yes. Yes,
And
do you think
she's
maybe
laughing at this.
he doesn't know how to feel about this, so he's just kind of nodding, like, yes, sure. I mean, as long as Greg doesn't try to murder me in my sleep because he's afraid that I might cause something to happen on the airship. And he kind of nods whilst Greg is having his little panic attack at Koru and look round and be like, as you can see.
Yes, I think your ability with fire is probably not the most welcoming idea
No.
to him right at this moment.
I will
I think Greg
definitely
has-
attempt something else.
I mean, we're working, right? We are meant to be doing something. We're meant to be security. I'm a bit concerned on why they're not allowing us access to things that we might have to, protect.
Possibly. I mean, maybe the security suggestion was more rowdy staff. They did sound like there could be some kerfuffles. Or, I haven't done a lot of reading on airship travel, but I'm sure there are creatures that, are able to. They may suspect the ship as some sort of creature. So it's possible we might have to do something up on deck, but I
Do you
don't
think
really.
Do you think your friend is very protective of her technology?
It is kind of one of a kind. It's brand new. Is due to be rolled out to all of the airships. If it's successful, she'll be a very powerful and very wealthy woman, I suppose. There may be more to it than what she's saying, but I've worked with her. She has seemed quite sound, but then I've worked with other wizards who've seemed quite sound and quite professional, and they've literally thrown me under a bus. So who knows? Power goes to people's heads.
very true. And saying that, if this is a one-of-a-kind technology, then, and this is its first ride, maybe, we can relax, but we should really keep an eye out. We don't know anyone on this ship, and anyone could have ill intentions for it.
Absolutely.
So maybe getting a little bit of alcohol into Greg to steady his nerves might be better than nothing.
I think
True.
at this point, Goru's already been trying to find a tankard of ale or something to pass towards Greg, because I know, just like I just got. But
Pass it into this window.
The prop
I know,
game is on
just pass
point,
it.
Dan.
That was the
I know, right?
product placement was perfect. Just like
I know.
try this out.
I do things right here. Yeah, no, Goro would definitely be trying to find some sort of tanker, because I think having traveled a bit with Greg, like knowing the few little things that might help Greg to sort of come down from a panic like this, smoking, ale, money, any shiny, anything that might just bring him.
Or a new hand. Or a knife. A nice knife. You got a nice knife?
Nice knife.
He might just find like a shiny knife on the table, like, what is doing? It's just like some person's like cut knife for dinner.
It's like a butter knife.
Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
he
Yeah, have I got a tankard?
trying to do this. Yeah.
Greg will just down the tankard.
And
Tankard?
seeing the
No,
other
I
two.
think I want a bottle. We've got a bottle. We're looking at. Oi!
Mike.
Oi! I talked to
Just
one of
fine.
the
Yeah.
go up over here. Oi! What are you guys? They're like a bar, So we've got like a tavern deck. Where's the tavern deck?
One of the crewmates, this young dwarf woman, turns to and this one here wants a tavern. The closest thing you'll get is the captain's quarters.
What is there? Booze and are we allowed in the captain's quarters? Can I go? Can we? Am I?
One
that
of
right?
one of the other crewmates is sort of like sat down on one of the the dinner benches, and where do you think all the best booze on this rig goes to, eh?
Oh, yeah.
I've heard the captain's got racks and racks of booze.
Right, where is he then? Where is he? Where's these captain's quarters? Was that big pompous? Don't mind trying to swear.
As you go to
Hello?
say it, the third crewmate kind of interjects and, yes, that would be the very authoritative captain up on the observation deck. Yes.
Yeah, he looked like a tall. Yeah. Yes, man.
It may be worth speaking to him just on the off chance that he might be interested in sharing.
Yeah, don't look like a sharer, but we can certainly go.
So, are you heading upstairs to see the captain?
I am heading upstairs to see the captain.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna go talk to the captain. I want to see how legitimate he is. See if he can bloody drive this thing.
I think
I'm going to go to see
Why?
how this goes.
I'm trying to usher Twig to come with if Twig wishes.
Sure.
Yes. No, I should probably make sure that he doesn't get into too much trouble.
Right. And
Trouble.
is lumbers towards the staircase to go up.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. If you move your
Good for
move your tokens to the staircase. So
I should go through there, shouldn't I? Yes.
So, we find you back on the deck. Boop, 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 boop. There you are, there you are. You two struggling there.
It's because people keep on closing the door.
Yeah, it just goes.
There we go,
Gotta get
there
out.
we go.
You gotta get out.
There we go. Okay, so yes, you emerge out onto the top deck, and yeah, Commander Kane, or Captain Kane, and like First Mate Kaless are up on the deck, just kind of up here. You see the staircases. As the four of you sort of like emerge, like begin heading up the stairs and emerge out. You notice that like the other passengers are kind of stood around, they're enjoying the view from the deck, when a huge shadow passes over the ship, momentarily blocking out the sun.
Greg just hits the floor.
Another shadow passes overhead, and as you look up,
Hits the floor again.
two russet-scaled wyverns are bearing down on the Windfall. Their jagged maws open, releasing blood-chilling roars as the ship shakes beneath you. One of the wyverns crashes into the foredeck, while another one dives towards the rear, their howls ringing ferociously. One wyvern.
No.
Two wyvern.
No, not that. Not like.
So, click, 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 click. As the two wyverns, like, there are cries and shouts from crew, there are screams of panic from the passengers as these creatures kind of begin swooping down towards the ship. And immediately snapping to attention, the Captain Kane looks to the four of you as you come up the stairs. The time for introductions will have to wait. You deal with the one at the fore of the ship. Me or my crew will deal with the one to the aft. Go! He shouts at you. And as the commoners like run off screaming for cover, and some of the crew kind of step back away from the wyvern, rescuing the commoners to go kind of rescue them, and Melandra moves with the commoners as well. She looks up to you up on the observation deck, you specifically, Twig, and gives you like an imploring look. So, everyone, if I could please have you arrange yourselves to defend the ship.
Can you please just double check with me which one we're supposed to attack?
You've been ordered to take out the one at the front.
The one at the front. Okay, cool. That's fine. Let's go. Let's do
I get
this.
as close as possible. How close can I put my token?
So you can
GM?
effectively plonk yourself. So realistically, the wyvern's actually sort of like off, like hurtling, like floating around the front of the ship above it. So yeah, plonk yourselves anywhere in this sort of like front section of the deck. Meanwhile, yeah, the rest of the crew and, well, the other crewmates and the captain and the first mate are heading to deal with the one at the back.
I will say, for those who wish my protection, stay close to me. And I will just try and run forward towards the, like, to be as in front of my allies as possible.
Okay. So, we are now in Initiative. Well, that doesn't really exist, but we're doing a fight. So, of the 4 of you, who is going first? Because the
Long range
initiative
people.
starts with you.
Rangers.
And above table, is that the ballista actually something usable?
Maybe.
Yeah, I am looking at that boy.
I'm just thinking I'm not a good shot, but for those Greg
Yeah,
who are a
with
good
some
shot,
runners. And can do range weapons.
actually, does it look like it's already loaded, GM, or does it look like it needs loading?
The one at the front is... So it's not loaded because, I mean, you wouldn't have a primed, like, ballista bolt ready to accidentally prang whoever... Yeah.
In that case, I will, unless the magic users wish to go first, I have something in mind.
I can do a fire attack with my jewel staff.
Okay. Let me just really quickly, because it's been a while since we played. Range. What are the ranges, just to give us a vague...
Oh, yeah, they've got...
So, you got
So, Melee's
very
melee. Close is 5 to 10. So
And,
very close is 5 to
That's
10.
very close.
10 to 30. 30 to 100. 100 plus. Okay. So, yeah, give or take. The wyvern's 30 foot up. So from Ruby, it's about 80 foot away. So that is far distance. Yes.
Nice. So yeah, Ruby's gonna grab hold of her jewel staff, and she's gonna whip it around to sort of whip the clouds around, sort of like the staff, and then sort of blaze it towards the creature in a sort of air dart, like she usually does.
Okay.
That is a 9.
with hope.
With hope.
A 9 with hope.
Well, it's 11 with hope.
Oh, it's 11. Yeah,
11.
it's 11 with hope, because I've got a +2 as well.
Okay, yeah, plus 2.
Thanks, Livy.
So
Well, you had your fear as well, isn't it? 9 and 2 together.
plus...
Plus
Yes.
your 2. So
Yeah,
that's
yes.
12.
So 13 with hope.
So 13. 13 with hope.
A 13 with hope.
Map.
A 13 with hope hits. Please roll damage.
Hey!
Hey.
Do I get a hope out of that as well?
You do.
Yeah. Roll my damage. 2d6 plus 3. Roll. That is a 6.
6. Okay. So you... what does this attack look like?
So yeah, she's... As the clouds are sort of like coming over the airship, she's whipping those clouds sort of like around her jewel staff, and then she's sort of wafting it into sort of like a guided sort of sharp dart.
Okay.
Heads towards... What's this thing called again?
So it's a wyvern. A wyvern.
A wyvern.
Okay, in which case this dart like flies out, and the wyvern sort of like spins like corkscrews, and the dart grazes its flank. So it takes 1 hit point of damage. I should do hit points. 1. There we are. So it takes 1 hit point of damage. Do you want to move, Ruby?
No. I'll stay here.
Okay. In which case, because I'm a big meanie, is it 1 fear to interrupt? Is it 1 or 2?
I think so. Fear. I got it.
I believe it's 1, but it might be 2.
Spending fear. When
Spending
you
fear.
spend fear, discard changes as the world fear mass. So yeah, you spend fear. You can interrupt the PC during combat to take an action.
Yeah. We may spend a fear to interrupt. In which case, as the wyvern like lets out a bellow, as you fire your kind of air dart at it, as I say, it kind of pulls its wing in, pulling itself into a corkscrew, and like it's a big kind of flap of the wings into the corkscrew, and it begins hurtling towards the ship at impressive speeds. It's going to use. So I'm going to mark a point of stress on the thing, which I believe it has 4 of. Yes, it has 4. So it marks a point of stress, and I pick a point within far range. The wyvern moves to that point. So that point being... bam! Right in front of you.
Oh, hello.
It is no longer... it lands on the deck of the ship, so like you hear the floorboards underneath you creak as this creature, this like large 2-legged creature, lands. Its claws kind of puncturing through the wood of the decking, and it makes a close attack. So it's actually going to, so it's going to be very close to Ruby and Goru. It's going to make an attack against the 2 of you. So d20 plus 3. So Ruby, 23. And Goru, a 9 to hit.
Evasion 5, so yeah.
It's
Yeah,
a
it
good
just
thing
hits a bit.
This is a good thing we don't have crits in this game for GMs, isn't
Yeah.
it? Okay, all targets hit take 2d12 plus 4. Oh, you two got off super lucky.
Not yet.
8 damage and are knocked over, making them vulnerable until their next their next activation.
I will spend armor slot, sorry, to minus that 8 by 10, making that take no damage.
Okay, so you take no damage.
As I just
Okay.
is it
Because it's how much armor you have that you take off. Is that correct, or is it just?
yeah, so the armor score
Yeah.
is if you spend an armor slot, that's the number that you take off of the damage.
Okay.
So are you okay?
Yes, I'm actually going to take 2 armor slots.
Okay.
Because I'm guessing if it matches, I'm still going to get that anyway.
Yeah, so if it
Yeah.
meets your threshold, it
Yeah,
counts
if it
that
meets,
next
it beats. So yeah, I'm going to spend 2 armor slots to get it down to a 4.
Okay.
So then I only take a minor hit.
Minus them.
Okay. So Goru, you sort of like bring up your defenses as this wyvern like crashes down with such kind of concussive force that you, like, Ruby actually comes off the deck for a second before collapsing to the ground, and like the floor underneath you shakes enough that you kind of stumble. The wyvern, like its head rearing down in the same fluid motion. I'm then going to burn my last fear to make a crushing bite as it springs forward and launches at you, Goru, with its maw wide open. I make another attack against you, so that's d20 plus 3. 18 to hit, which I assume is a yes.
Yep.
So you take, and this hurts my D&D brain, you take 2d20 physical damage, and you automatically mark an armor slot as the teeth begin to rend into your armor.
Oh no! So I automatically take 1. Okay, and that's
16 damage.
Ooh, that's just above my. Yeah. Do you know what? I'll only reduce it by 1 armor slot because it's already chewed through an armor slot of mine. So I've now used 3 armor slots so far.
Okay.
To reduce that 16 down to a 6, which is 2 over my threshold. So I'm only taking 1 HP in damage on that.
Okay. So in which case, yeah, it clamps down on you. It tries to shake you around, but you're dense and bulky enough that it's like its head stays in place, and just like the neck, the long kind of winding neck moves, like wiggles off you like a snake's body, before it kind of pulls away from you, and the rest of you hear sort of like a screeching noise as the teeth rip across the like Goru's shield, as it pulls back, and as it stands to full height and raises its wings, it lets out a roar.
Ooh. Yeah, I imagine from that bite, just Goru not quick enough to bring his plank of a sword in. So part of that shielding was using his sheer strength from his claw to try and lessen the bite of the maw to try and scrape it off of him.
Yes.
As he's taking a scrape of damage.
So that. For those of you watching, that was using the Wyvern's ability Relentless. The creature moves with incredible speed, which means I can activate it twice per GM move. And as this Wyvern sort of like rears up over you with its wings spread wide, I reckon we go for a quick break.
Hey.
Cool. Right. The time is we will be back at, let's say, 10 o'clock on the nose.
Fabulous.
Cool.
Fabulous.
See you all in about 15 minutes. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye!
Hello, world. Hi. Woo! We're back. Hi.
Excited.
It is I, DM Dan, and welcome to Explorers of Elsewhere Live. We're playing some Daggerheart. We rejoin our companions, Theo, Livy, Nate, and Dan, PC of the PC variety, as they are aboard the RAS Windfall, a Royal Navy airship that is currently under attack from a large bronze-scaled wyvern. Woohoo indeed, Julia. That is exactly what I need as I strive towards my first TPK. So, the wyvern has just smashed into the deck of the Windfall. A second is currently embroiled in combat with the captain, the first mate, and some crewmates at the rear of the ship. But yeah, has collided with the deck with such ferocity that Ruby has been thrown to the ground. Goro has been savaged by the beast's impossibly sharp teeth. And it's back to you. What do you guys do?
If it's okay, I would like to go next.
No, it's not.
Yeah, unless anyone else wants to chip in.
No, you go.
In which case, yeah, in this moment, as the wyvern has chomped its way through a bit on Goru, Goru will, reading from that bit of pain, will just scrape the plank of a greatsword along the deck and just go for a straight up uppercut against its bottom of its jaw.
Okay.
But before I do that, within that motion, there's almost like a strengthening of resolve and like almost a bit of like an adrenaline rush, as I will activate my once prolonged rest feature of Guardian, which is to become unstoppable.
Okay. So let's give
And which
you...
gives me a number of things, but for the sake of game, yes, I'm a bit harder to hit. I hit it slightly harder, and it will only get worse for the creature over time.
Okay.
And I cannot be restrained or vulnerable.
Okay. So yes,
Which is important for this.
as you sort of like muster up your defenses, that vulnerability from being knocked prone by the wyvern is removed.
And yeah, I'm going for this huge uppercut with my giant greatsword.
Okay.
So I will with this, because I've got the hoop, and considering the wyvern has pinned one of my friends down and it's really coming on us. Is it possible? So I've got the hope to burn. Where's my details? There. I'm trying to protect my allies, as I have their back. So I've got a feature, my experience of "I'll have your back." Could I play that into trying to protect my allies as I try and bat this thing off the side of the boat? I think I hope.
So can experiences be used with attacks?
It can, if it makes sense story-wise, or like the experience. So yeah, a lot of the experiences can be, because you're spending resource, you're spending a hope, but obviously it has to make sense narratively as well, depending on what you use.
Anytime you make an action roll. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so you drop down to 4 hope. And
4 hope on this.
You get +2? +2 experience?
Yeah, I got a +2 to this attack. As I'm trying to defend my allies. I shall roll. I have rolled a 16 with hope.
16 plus...
Oh, sorry, I forgot. Where's my greatsword? plus 2, so 18 total. Sorry,
And plus another 2 for the experience.
1920.
20. 20 with hope. Wow, we were. That is a hit, sir.
Which is great. So I get that hope back, so I'm on plus 5 again, hope wise. So yes. Where's my unstoppable feature? Okay, so yeah, as the greatsword rakes across the floorboards and uppercuts against this creature from underneath, I will roll damage. Now, because I got a greatsword, it does have a feature where I can roll an extra die, weapon die, and I get rid of the lowest. So
Okay.
in my case, because I got proficiency of 2, I'm going to be rolling 3d10s, and I'm going to get rid of the lowest one.
Okay.
So I'll roll those separately on 4d10. Roll.
18.
So I'll get 18 plus 4 for me in my current state.
22.
22 points of damage, I believe. This is physical.
Sure.
22 points of physical damage as I uppercut this beast.
Okay. In which case, as you surge from the deck and the sword sort of like scrapes across the floor before being swung in this mighty arc, 22 damage is severe damage. That's 3 hit points off my pen literally just exploded.
Exciting.
That's how impactful the attack was. Okay, 3 points of damage, and the wyvern is sort of like staggers back, roaring from this huge gash across its midriff, and sort of like clatters into the ballista that it's stood in front of. Like one of its wings flapping wildly, trying to kind of correct itself in its head, swinging from side to side. Anything else, Corey?
Nope. Reeling back from the uppercut, he will bring the greatsword down in a more defensive pose, ready to intercept any blows to my allies.
Okay. Who's next?
I will go. I how far away is it from me?
It's within very close of you.
It is very close.
It's almost
What?
Rain of Blades close.
Is it Rain of Blades close? Or is it Long Tongue close? So
Gonna lick it before it dies.
yeah, Greg, who was previously hiding behind Goru, in the melee action, just finally looks up and realizes that what's going on, and that this guy is starting to get pretty hurt. So what he's going to do is he is going to unleash his long tongue as a finesse close weapon.
Okay.
So I need to mark a stress for using it. It's very stressful to use my really long tongue. So
I expect licking it is not the nicest thing.
no, I'm gonna like punch it in its eyeball. So I'm using my tongue to punch it right in the eyeball.
Okay. Yeah.
Hale saying,
Right.
"Stop licking the damn thing in my head." now."
Right in the face. So I need to make an attack roll, which is a finesse weapon.
Is getting salmonella from is that a chicken unique thing, or do you reckon you can get it from wyvern eyeballs?
Chicken salad. I mean, it depends what it's made of.
You're gonna get pink eye on your tongue.
Well, it's only Twig that has to worry about that because he's sharing a bed with me tonight. So what was it? I'm really rubbish at remembering how I do a attack.
Do a roll.
Roll.
So the
Is
two dice
with-
at the bottom of your
It is
Foundry
with 2
screen.
dice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Not great.
So 7 with hope plus what's your thingy thing? Your
2.
2 is so that's a 9 with hope.
9.
Unfortunately, that does not connect.
Just.
However, you do gain another hope.
I do gain another hope.
So
Maxed out now.
you with a non-trademarkable Yoshi,
Yeah.
the wyvern sort of like sees this tongue coming and just sort of like smacks your tongue with the side of its head.
Yeah.
And I assume, I don't know how quickly it retracts. Well, maybe, sorry, the tongue flies towards its face and then it turns and opens its maw, and then you have to sort of reel it back in real quick.
Reel it back in again.
As this wyvern like chomps in the space that was previously occupied by the end of your tongue.
Yeah, no, don't want that. Thank you very much.
Are you moving, Greg?
I would like to become hidden, please. Can I hide behind this crate-like object? Is that how big is that?
I reckon you could. Yeah, the fact that there's a big old crane.
Crane there.
Yeah.
Very much. I would like to hide. Shh. No one was here. Definitely not a really long tongue boy.
So do you roll? Is that a stress?
No, it's just stress. So I'll just mark a stress on.
Mark stress
and then I
and you become hidden.
become hidden.
Okay, I'll mark that as invisible for now. Oh, you're going a little blue. Okay, very nice. Who's going next? That's 2 activations in the pool.
Because it was a fail of a hit.
I thought it was just
you get
fear.
to go.
No, I thought it was just if you roll with fear that you.
If you roll with fear, yes, roll with fear, and don't you miss as well? Or is that not it?
Someone in comments.
It's a failed roll, I thought.
Initiative. You'd have thought that we'd have figured
Action
out
tracker trying.
action rolls. Yeah, action tracker. Action tracker. Frantically searching through the action tracker.
Yeah.
Using action tracker GM. Here we are. Activating adversaries. Whenever a player makes a move, they add. What? When you make a GM move, usually after an action roll that fails or is rolled with fear. Okay, but yeah,
Yep.
You're absolutely right. So, we shouldn't have doubted you. Yeah, I'm gonna. Let's see. You know what? I'm going to share the love. So as it snaps and there's almost a thunder boom of a clap as the jaw slams together, and sort of like it leans forward, having just chased Greg's tongue for a little bit. That's a sentence I never thought I'd ever say. It then sort of like, as it rights itself, kind of blood oozing from the wound on its kind of abdomen, its long snaky head sort of like looks around and settles on the goblin to its left, and with a sharp, it attempts to bite at Twig.
Yes, it does.
Snap. A 10 to hit.
My evasion is 9, so I think it hits.
So that is a hit. In which case you take 18 damage.
Well, I was going to interject. Is Twig within very close to me?
Don't know if he does count very close.
7. Yeah, you're everything very close.
Okay.
In which case, I will mark a stress to take the damage instead,
Okay.
as I interject myself in front of Twig, rather than Twig take this 18 damage. I'll be like, no! Woof, as I get myself in the way,
Okay.
and I will take the brunt of this 18.
In which case, the jaws clamp round you for 18 damage instead.
Yep, and with that, I am going to spend 1 armor slot and 1 stress to take 0 damage, as I'm current... Hold on, how much? It was 18, wasn't it? So yeah,
Yeah.
I can take it down by 12 each time currently. So, yeah, I take no damage as I bat this thing with my sword out of the way.
Okay, in which
Tanky
case...
tank.
Yeah, the jaws kind of clamp round your shell, but kind of don't make any purchase. The wyvern kind of rears back. It is relentless, so I get to do another thingy.
Oh no.
Another thingy.
Another thingy. In which case, it's like its teeth squeak off your shell. It then sort of like roars in frustration, and Goro, as you sort of like come out slightly more slobbery, there's a huge buffet of its wings, and it rips up into the air, like kind of darkening, like covering you in shadow, before it pulls its wings back in and it dive bombs a second time. Just
I wish I could just go in my shell.
It's gonna dive bomb between you, like effectively almost landing on the crates. So the crates are just sort of like smashed to bits. The crates that you're hidden behind, Greg. But as it slams back down, it'll mark a second stress to do that, and it makes an attack against both of you. So Twig is 5. And Goro is an 11.
Yeah, it kind of hits.
Okay, I assume it misses you, Twig?
So
That's fine,
my my minor is 1, my major is 5.
No, this
You-
is your
Oh no! Oh yeah,
evasion.
evasion. Yes. Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah. My evasion's 9, so yeah, it misses.
Sure. Okay.
Which is really...
In which case, like, Twig, as you see this thing kind of go up in the air, you kind of have a pretty good idea what's about to happen, and you've managed to sort of like dive out of the way in time for this thing to come careening back to the deck and kind of splinter the wood underneath your feet. Goro, however, you take the brunt of its slam. You take 20 damage.
In which case,
And you're
again,
knocked over.
I will spend an armor slot and a stress again to take it to 0.
Okay.
As I just get in my shield, like, oh no.
And you're immune to vulnerable, aren't you?
And I'm immune to vulnerable, yeah.
In
As
which
I just,
case,
like a tank,
this
grunt
thing,
it.
this thing kind of comes down, like feet first, and it slams into sort of like your, like what is effectively your shoulders, and like you're unrockable, and you just sort of like you feel the ground, the wood, the timbers underneath your feet like bend and split as it forces you down, and you crack the floor slightly, as it drives you into the ground like a really round peg. And as it sort of like slams into you, it sort of like the dust and splinters fly everywhere. It lets out a roar before it kind of slips off you as you push your way back up, back to your feet. Yeah, you are no longer vulnerable. You are not vulnerable from that attack. Cool. Easy peasy. Now it's your turn. Who's going next?
Can I go now?
Yeah,
Yes.
I feel like
Go ahead.
it's probably time for me to go.
Burn him, burn
Burn
him,
him.
burn him, burn. Not that we're on a thing made of wood. Greg's like, don't burn him. Don't burn
No.
But you can't see him because he's hidden, so...
Yeah.
It was like, don't do that pun. Don't do... No, So, Twig getting traumatized by this whole bloody adventure at this point.
Yeah.
I think he, in a very similar way that he reacted to the bandits, actually probably much worse, let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's a wyvern in the middle of the sky. He kind of like ruffles into his jacket and looks at some of the new spells that he'd been thinking about trying, and just in a very panicked way reveals his wand and shoots towards the dragon with it. And I'm going to use Power Push. So make a spellcast roll against a target in melee range, and he is still within 5 feet of me. On a success, they are blast far range and take D10 magic damage using your proficiency. So it's the most powerful thing I've got. So I'm gonna go for it. Let's go.
So he gets pushed too far. So if
Yeah, he gets pushed too far.
Okay.
If I succeed.
Okay. Okay.
So let's see if I succeed first. No, probably not. So that's a 9.
Oh.
Okie dokie.
So sad.
In
You
which,
tried.
yeah, you stand up.
Yeah.
Or go on, Dan.
I was thinking about whether to help in terms of a tag team role.
But now I've seen your
You
role,
could-
so
But I don't. In terms of the rules, I'm not sure if you have
I
to
don't
sort
think you
of
can
declare
do
it
it
before you roll.
post.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
You can't do
I
it
don't
post
think
the
you can do it
roll.
post.
So I didn't
You
say
gotta
it
agree on it
beforehand.
beforehand.
Exactly. That's why I'm trying to.
well. What definitely happens is that I get a fear point. And so yeah, like Twig, you stand like in the shadow of this beast, and then you produce your wand and you point it at the beast just in time for like its head, like the neck turns and twists and it just looks at you, and it is a snapshot of like Bilbo versus Smaug when he's just like, hello. And like you feel the grip on your wand like slacken slightly, and like you notice that your hand is visibly kind of shaking as this thing looks to you, and you feel like the hot breath wash over you, with this putrid, pungent, like decaying meat stench, and like the bolt. The magic blast fires out the tip of the wand, but it just roars like past its head. Unfortunately, that's a miss. I'm pretty sure, just real quick, that when someone rolls with fear, I can choose to take a turn or take fear.
Yeah, I think.
But that was also it was a fail with fear. So do I do both? Do I do both?
So you get a fear anyway, or you can choose to take your turn.
I really want some fear. I really like the fear. I want the fear. Whenever a player... so I can read this real quick again. When you ever make a move, usually after an action roll that fails or is rolled with fear. Activate... exchanging fear and tokens. You can clear 2 tokens on the tracker in exchange for storing 1 fear. Well, this gives you an extra fear to spend. It reduces the number of tokens. Fine. You know what? I'm just going to take a fear. Who's going next?
You're just soaking it up.
Do you want to do anything?
You want to get up?
Team. Does anyone want to tag team so we can take on this git? So
Well, do you have Rain of Blades?
I do have Rain of Blades.
And I have Rain of Blades.
Can we
You
double
want to
Rain
make
of
a
Blades?
thunderstorm of blades and do a tag team?
Yeah,
And it
I
only
do.
counts as 1 token on the action tracker for tag team rather than 2 because it's So do it.
Are you tag teaming?
How much hope is it again to tag team?
So the
3
instigator
hope
pays
for the
3.
person who's the instigator. So it'll
Okay.
be Greg, if you're doing your turn, Ruby, then Greg's gonna instigate the tag team, say, "Oh, I want to join in on this."
Yeah, if I was to do the tag team, I wouldn't be able to do it because it already costs. I've only got 3 hope, and it already cost me 2 hope to conjure Rain of Blades as well. But if you want me to tag team with Greg performs Rain of Blades, and I do, and I sort of then direct them with air. Then
Yeah, that's true.
So it's kind of like dual staff and Rain of Blades at the same time.
Well, unless you wanted to also use Rain of Blades, it will cost you 2. It will cost Greg 5, but then you'll roll both of your Rain of Blade damages together.
That's the thing. If Livy's got 5, then we can do it.
I do
don't
have
5.
5.
Livy's got 6.
However, I've got 6, haven't I? Because we have more hope
Yes,
now.
you have
Yeah.
6.
So yeah, that's perfect because then I can also perform a sneak.
Monsoon of Blades!
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna spend all of my hope.
Okay, so
Better work.
So Ruby's using Rain of Blades,
Ruby is also using Rain of Blades.
and Greg is using Rain of Blades.
Yeah. I was gonna ask, can I still have advantage on this Rain of Blades roll as I'm coming out of hidden?
Sure. I mean, it looks like it's about to eat twigs, so it's not paying you much attention right now.
Yeah, that's fine. Just because obviously I'll get advantage on this roll, but obviously we're double rolling.
So, describe to me what this looks like.
So I'm like hidden behind this box, and I'm hidden, but I'm in the eye line of Ruby, so Ruby can see me, and I just look at her, and I just give her.
And she goes,
doing shining, so like.
This will be glorious to listen to without visual aid.
So, as we are obviously on the same wavelength, I jump
Obviously.
onto the crate in front of me.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
just scream at the top of my voice. Blades!
Okay, so as Greg unleashes the Rain of Blades, both of you roll. Greg with advantage.
No, so in terms of a tag team, you both roll to attack, but you both get to choose whose roll you use before you see if it hits or not.
So yeah, so Greg needs to roll.
Do I still get 2 rolls?
Well, no. So now it's an additional D6 for advantage. They changed it back, didn't they?
Yeah. So this isn't an advantage case. This is you both roll to hit.
Yeah, but Livy's got advantage on top.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So yeah, it's a D6 for advantage.
So it's a D12.
So 2d12 plus d6. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've got 9.
And then add your mods as well.
I've got.
So 20 with hope for Greg.
Sorry, and my mod is plus 2. So
22.
22.
22 with hope. Is Ruby going to use the 22 with hope?
22 with hope sounds good, yeah.
Sure.
In terms of the hope, the person who's chosen for the role only gets the hope.
That's fair enough. Livy spent her hope, so
I got my hope anyway.
Okay, so
you get hope back.
Greg goes back up to 2 hope. And surprisingly, that's a double hit. So please, both of you, roll your damage rolls.
Fabulous.
And this is just one. Is this one combined total?
Yes.
Okay. So 48 damage.
Plus, I get an extra d6 because because I'm gonna. It's a sneak attack.
Sneaky rain of blades.
He never saw it coming, even though I went rain of blades.
Bounced it, but it's fine. It's still sneaky.
I'm imagining there was also like anime action lines.
Wait.
So we got 7 plus.
Oh wait, what am I doing? That's not
It
working.
should be 2d8. Maybe for you.
2d8 plus d6 or whatever it is for your sneak.
And if you have a modifier for that as well. Some weapons have modifiers.
That roll.
Tell you what, I'll roll it out for you. Boop, boop, boop. There you are, have a 9.
And add a 6.
Add a d6, yeah.
Yeah.
So 12, 19. Is there anything else adding on to rubies, or is it just straight 2d8?
Straight 2d8, yeah.
Okay.
Do you get a spellcast roll on it? Do you get a +2? Do you get a +2 for your spellcast roll? Or do you get a plus anything
That was
on
for
yours?
this.
Just for your roll.
For the damage
You don't
roll.
get any extra. Okay, on your damage. No worries.
Sure. So 7, 16, 19 damage is major damage to the creature, which rocks and roars as it is buffeted with kind of flying magical darts from all directions, and it brings its wings in to shield itself as best it can. But even so, it starts like tearing through the membranes and like the membranous skin and kind of impacting in, presumably exploding in almost like little puffs of shadow and air as the two of you, like a needler kill from Halo. Very good. Okay, and the two of you land 3-point superhero poses, looking hella cool. Who's going next? Maybe it's Twig now that the creature's distracted.
Holy.
Fireballs, go!
I mean, I could potentially tag team on Twig's roll if you want to go all ham.
Yeah.
We could try it. I mean, I really wanted to try another spell because I have the power push spell, which I was tempted and it failed. But I've also, with my new level up, I have ice spikes, so not fire. So ice spikes. I summon large ice spikes within very far range. If you use them as a weapon or on its success, you deal 2d6 physical damage. So it might be useful. Just trying to think about how we would tag team that unless
Well, if you're getting ready to throw a spell, I will literally just grab the thing by the neck with my sheer strength and say, holding the creature down, and I'll say, no!
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that sounds good. I like that.
Okay, so the two of you tag teaming?
I will. Yeah, I'm going to spend my 3 hope of 5.
Down to
Go
2?
down to 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is one more box. In which case, yeah, like the creature's kind of got its vision obscured from its wings as it tries to shield itself from the magical darts. So Goro, you're going in to grab
your creature by the neck and get my sword at the ready, almost one-handedly, but like trying to hold the creature down. And I'm saying now, with seeing that Twig's trying to aim another spell.
Sure.
Get ready to pierce the thing as well.
In which case, both of you roll me to hit.
Roll. What's my...
Okay.
So now I get a +2 on this.
Okay, so we've got 11 plus... what's your mod, Twig?
It'll be +2. It'll be 13 with hope.
13 with hope.
Or 16 with fear.
16?
Oh no.
Is it +2?
Yeah, because I got a +2 on top of it.
Oh, 2 plus 2s. Okay. So 16 with fear or 13 with hope. Which are you choosing?
I mean, we still succeed with the fear.
Yep, we still succeed.
like-
We might
more
kill
like-
it outright before.
Bad things happen.
Yeah, I got a 13 and I was able to attack it. So
True. You could. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah,
So if you go with your hope, you get a hope. So do it. I say go with the 13 because we know it hits, and you get a hope rather than causing him to have a fear.
Okay, that's cool. We'll do that then. Cool.
Someone was paying attention, Nate.
That little fear farmer over there. Yeah.
Okay.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah.
So, the two of you, describe to me how this looks fully before rolling for damage.
So, I see Twig looking like they're preparing another spell, and to try and reassure Twig, I drop the greatsword with one hand and seeing the creature just dodging these blows or getting rained on by these swords. I will take that moment of weakness to just lunge at the creature's throat at the base, and I will look back at Twig and say, "No, do it."
And I think like Twig will be like still shaking with his wand, and he'll realize like he puts his wand away and just tries to focus on the new spell without using the wand. He'll be able to try this, and just like lifts his hands and spins his arms around with like kind of runic patterns, and just like forces out these like. And as he like gestures his hands forward, the spikes, like his ice spikes, kind of come out and grow large and just fire forward. Kind of a little bit like the darts, but like a lot bigger,
Sure.
and like almost like stalactites. And they just go forward, but like really big, kind of ice spikes.
Just
And like
imagine
I
him
feel like
flying past.
Grogu is holding. Yeah, like I feel like if Grogu's holding down like his throat, I think Twig is trying to get his throat and up, hoping even just to maybe even blind the wyvern, maybe. Just to make sure that he gets as much damage as possible
Sure.
with the help he's getting.
Okay. Both of you roll damage.
Yes.
We got a
10 for
10.
me.
Do you plus anything onto that Twig?
Not for magic usually.
In
No,
that case,
sadly.
then I'll just roll my 3d10s and take away 1.
That's a
So
juicy
9
17.
plus 1. 17 plus, for me now, 5 plus 5.
So 22.
Yeah, so
Plus
22
10.
plus,
Good God. Okay.
plus 10.
Plus 10.
So
32.
32.
At the sound of Goru's like deep sonorous no, like as you conjure these large magical icicles, Twig, you fling them forwards, and like the creature, like the wyvern thrashes under your grip, Goru, but you manage to sort of like you kind of tough it out and you pull the creature backwards, just in time for one of the icicles to launch and catch it, like bang in the middle of its long, like snake-like neck. And Twig, you watch as this icicle strikes true and punctures clean through the wyvern's neck. And as it thwips and roars in pain, Goru, you're able to sort of like hop back, and then bringing your greatsword in one wide swiping, one wide cleave, you catch it at the point of the neck where it has now been perforated by this icicle, and with a single bloody swipe, the creature's head is severed. The neck is severed in two. The head goes tumbling straight over the side of the ship, and the torso and wings flap wildly, like the tail swishing, the legs clawing out at you, before it too kind of staggers backwards, like instinctively, and topples off the edge of the ship.
Is it dead?
It just comes back like.
Yeah, just the
Hydra.
head flapping its eyebrows. Okay, and as you hear sort of like the wailing, you know, the cry, the gurgling death cry of this wyvern, before its head is removed from its neck, as it tumbles off and like the ship rocks under the sun changing weight. You hear a second kind of paired call from towards the back of the ship, and as the four of you, like, Twig, you and Goru coated in this creature's blood. As you look to the back of the ship, you see one of the other, like the second wyvern, like the head turns to watch the body of its mate tumbling through the sky down towards the forest canopy, and with a kind of a draconic yelp, it flaps its wings, and kind of takes off from the ship, dropping the crewmate that it had in its claw, and then kind of swooping down towards the forest canopy. And with that, you've successfully defended the ship from attack.
Hey.
Oh boy. I burned through some stuff, guys.
Some stuff.
I'm really tired. As the four of you like take a moment to catch your breath, having fought off this kind of monstrosity, you like all you can hear for a few moments is the sound of the sort of like the passing, like the wind, like breezing past you, and the hum of the airship. And as you, what the four of you doing in this immediate moment?
Twig is on his knees, probably hyperventilating a little bit. That was a little bit terrifying.
Drenched in blood.
I'm drenched in blood. I was almost eaten by a dragon. If it was not for the lovely Goru, I would be dragon chow for sure. But yeah, he is definitely on his knees.
Sorry, I'm imagining Goru is dead Peter from Family Guy at the moment. Just like
Just completely just smashed in.
just holes,
Oh, dear.
just rends and holes all over him. But no, that's fair. So Twig's feeling kind of vulnerable. How are Greg and Ruby doing?
Yeah, all right. Yeah, that was great. Greg's still on top of his crates, and he sees that Twig is. So he jumps down, comes up to Twig, goes, "Oh, well done, mate. Yeah, you finished him off, didn't you? Finished him off again. Call you the finisher." Thwaff on the back. That was great. Biggs is helping. Oh, really good. Really good at this stuff, aren't you? Great at killing. Tap, tap,
Thanks,
tap.
Greg.
Just wipe. Just tries to wipe off the blood off his face. He's really just smearing it around. With his amphibious hands, just not really just soaking anything up.
At this point,
just
you're
moving it
realizing
around.
that wyvern blood is particularly kind of slimy and viscous.
It's viscous.
So
but
you
yeah,
are just
yeah.
like
Thank
Like-
you, Greg.
like you're trying to wipe
I'm
off
fine, thanks.
melted Pritt stick.
Oh God. Oh, love
Um,
it. But,
Ruby, you saw the tail end of that battle, sort of like from the deck itself. But as you right yourself, how are you doing? Where's
So
your head at?
there's none of the beast left on the There's no other wyvern left on the thing, is it? Has it completely fallen
Just
off?
Only what's
its
on
lifeblood, actually. Yeah. Just...
Only what's left. You could probably scrape what's off of Twig into a bottle if you want.
In that case, kind of looking at it, and sort of peering over to seeing Greg just sort of wipe Twig and just cover him continually more. She's gonna walk over to the both of them and say, "Oh, let me do this. Let me do this, Greg. I've probably got like a little bit more.
I've got it. I think I've got it.
I think it's going to need a little bit more, I'm afraid. And out of my nomadic pack, because I can do this once a session, I can spend a hope, and I'm going to pull out. I'm gonna pull out, if Dan will allow me, if the DM will allow me. I'm gonna pull out sort of like a rag, but I'm also gonna pull out some sort of like cleaning fluid that's probably going to do like a little bit better.
A little bit of anti-bac.
Yeah, like a little bit of fantasy anti-bac. And sort of squidge this on and start sort of better cleaning Twig.
Okay.
Getting the blood off him.
Very, very good. You can absolutely do that, yes. Well, whilst you're sort of like tending to one another, you hear a voice kind of call out from further down the ship. And turning up to look, you notice that it is the voice of Captain Kane.
My, that was quite a display. It normally takes a full squadron of my soldiers and a pair of officers to fight one of those things off, and the four of you did it by yourselves. I suppose having adventurers aboard does have its advantages. Please, you must join me and my officers for dinner tonight, so I can properly thank you for your service. Take some time to bandage your wounds and rest, of course.
And
you, Captain.
The captain nods. You see his first mate kind of emerges from the side, carrying some of the has one of the wounded crewmates arm over her shoulders as she's kind of leading them down into the ship proper. And you watch as you notice here quite a lot of the ship's crew that were fighting off the wyvern. You see one sporting a very vicious slash across the shoulder. One appears to have been bitten on the torso, on the side. Some of them seem to be kind of limping. It looks like the others took quite a bit of a battering against their wyvern, but it seems like no one died. They were just wounded. So we will wrap things off with a quick short rest. So yeah, the dinner time is a couple of hours away. So more than enough time for a short rest. Between the four of you, you get you can choose two of these options each. And you can also kind of help. You can do these things to one another as well. So you can tend to wounds, you can clear your stress, you can repair your armor, or you can prepare for what's to come. So tend to wounds, obviously hit points, clear stress is stress, repair armor is armor, and prepare is gaining hope. So, what's Twig doing?
I feel like I think this might come under prepare. I don't know if you'll let me do this, but I feel like as a roleplay thing he would. Is having seen that a lot of people have been injured, he would offer his services to the crew because he is adept in healing magic. And I consider it under prepare because I feel like in the future we may need these people to be on our side. We do not know what kind of dangers we may face on the ship. And gaining that trust and that loyalty from the crew is quite important. Regardless of what we think of the captain, it may be worthwhile befriending these people, and the way to do it is to be resourceful.
Yeah, absolutely. in which case, are any of the other three of you joining in to
Yes,
tend to the
I'm
crew?
happy to.
As
So
like
that would be
your
one
things.
of my.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, no, Greg will help prepare by helping. He will sit around with some of the crew and have
Hand
a
out
beer,
cigars.
hand out cigars, have a smoke on the deck.
Yeah.
And can I
Fraternise.
fraternize? Can I also use that as my clear stress as one?
That could be your second one. Yeah.
Yeah, because we
Okay.
will de-stress, blow off some steam,
Okay.
have a smoke, say.
So we know what your two are. So Theo, what's your second short rest?
I think it's hard because I don't think I need anything else on
In
here.
that
Because I was very
case-
fortunate I didn't actually take
I
any.
wouldn't mind a little bit of help on my
Can you
end
tend
if
to your
you've got
wounds?
if anyone's got spare.
Yeah, I was going to say I can tend to wounds, so I can obviously by preparing by helping the crew. I would also lend that to you. So I'm more than happy to tend to your wounds. Goro, you did save my life by
Okay.
taking like 16 bloody whatever. But yeah, so apparently it's a D4. I think I
It's a
roll.
D4.
and
That's why, because I've spent a lot of armor slots, which is
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm going to spend both of mine, one on armor, one on stress, because I've taken a bit of stress as well.
It's one. That's not helpful. but
It's
it is
better
one.
than nothing.
Roll
Thank
The
God,
genteel pat on the bum.
very appreciative.
Can I also let me have a little look. Yeah, you know what, I will do this. Can I use the spell Mending Touch on Guru, please? So apparently once per long rest, when you spend this healing time learning something new about them or revealing something about yourself, the 2 hope you spend heals 2 points instead.
Okay.
So I'm going to add a D4, but then I can also give you more. But you have to reveal personal things to me to do so.
Sure. So we'll bank. Yes, absolutely. We'll
Bank
bank
that.
that. Bank that in a sec. We'll come back to that in a moment. Is anyone else joining Twig and Greg while they fraternise? Sounds like Goru's sitting it one out. Ruby, you sitting it out?
Yeah, Ruby's gonna sit it out.
Okay. What's Ruby doing for her too?
Ruby's gonna spend just like a little bit of time by herself in one of the rooms, and she's gonna heal. She's gonna heal one of her hit points, so she's just gonna sort of clean herself up a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And she's also going to repair one slot of her armor as well.
Okay.
So a little bit of mending of her little cape.
Sure.
And reapply some slap.
Some embroidery.
Mm.
Okay. So you're tending to wounds. You're repairing armor. Goru, you're repairing armor and tending
I'm
to your wounds.
stressed.
Stress. Sorry. And then you're also
stress and repair armor. So I'll roll my d4s now. Just
Yep. So everyone roll your d4s. I see Greg's reduced stress, like puffed out 4 stress worth of cigars.
Yeah.
Oh no.
How do you? I'm guessing it just. I'm sort of healing and armor slots. Is it rolling anything, or is it just you go down 1?
It's
No.
d4.
D4. Okay.
I rolled pretty poorly.
Mm.
So that will be for my stress. That will be for my health, and then another one for my armor, and then just one go down 1 anyway. There we go.
There we go. Bish bash bosh. Okay, so during the short rest, Goru, how? Also gone.
Did me and Twig get 2 hope each?
The 2 of you get 2 hope each. Yes, so you go up to 4, and Twig goes
2,
up to
1.
5.
But I used 2 on Goro.
And then back down to 3. Okay. What Twig Goru, what What does Twig learn of Goru? What does Twig learn of Goru during the mending of the armor?
It's either I learn about you or I reveal something. So if you have anything
okay.
you want to reveal, we can do that, or I can
I
talk because Twig is a talker.
think Ogoru would mention that it's hard to make many friends, and actually say that when you're an outsider and you're a nomad and you're wandering and you don't know anyone, you don't meet many people. But considering the arduous journeys we've already had together, I think Goru would admit that I regard you as someone close, as a friend who I want to protect. I value you. I will do everything I can to make sure you're safe. You know that, right?
Of course. But you remember we are also fighting along your side. We don't want you in any pain either. We need you as much as you need us, as friends.
Thank you. I will learn to lean on you some more. As I sort of give in to your aid in patching me up. What does the hope give me in terms of healing?
Where is it gone?
What can I use it on? Is it just hit points, or can I use it on
2 hit points or 2 stress?
2 stress for sure. The stress I use up a lot quicker, so yeah, I'll use it on the stress, and I think just talking has helped with Goru's mindset, and he's very appreciative of this bit of relief through speech.
I feel like Twig will also mention, like, like, you know, and he's kind of bustling away, taking care of you. Like, I know you say you found it hard to make friends traveling, but sometimes the loneliest people are surrounded by lots of people. In the city, it was quite hard to make friends, despite being surrounded by very like-minded people. So, friends can be found anywhere.
Wise words. I will think on what that means. Thank you, Twig. I appreciate your help.
We appreciate you too.
With that said, elsewhere, on the Windfall, with the sounds of battle dying out overhead, there is a short and sharp sigh of relief from Melandra as she turns her attention to her prized project. Her face the sharp contours of her face are illuminated by a magical arcane blue glow from the strange magical contraption of tubes and crystals and a small weather vane connected to the freestanding iron cell in front of her. And as she turns to satisfied that there has been no damage to the silver engine, she turns and leaves, passing the number of crewmates assigned to its defense and protection, happy in the knowledge that the secret of the silver engine has been kept. Congratulations on completing the first episode of Marauders of Windfall. There we go. So, that combat was a bit more spicy than the ones you had in the Sablewood, wasn't it?
Oh, just a bit.
A little bit.
But no, you managed it perfectly. So, yes, we will find out what other mysteries lie in the Windfall, and what exactly. Perhaps we might even find out what exactly the Silver Engine is. But until that point, I think we've had a little discussion. We're pretty sure that this is going to be a fortnightly thing, so we'll next go live and continue with this adventure. I think it's on the 4th of July, Independence
Nothing
Day.
else is happening. Yeah, nothing else is happening that day. So.
No.
Important.
Whilst the Americans really hyped up the whole 4th of July Independence Day thing, didn't they? So we decided to borrow it. So yes, we will be here from about 8 PM on the 4th of July with fear or elation in our eyes. And we're really looking forward to bringing you the next episode. So hopefully you enjoyed this. If we got anything wrong, it's a playtest. Stop worrying about it. But for sure, put it in the comments just so we know. Yeah, this is still feeling good. Still feeling good. I'm still enjoying it. So I hope you four are as well. Question mark?
Yeah.
Question mark?
Yes, for
Hopeful
sure.
statement. And also, we're hoping that you're enjoying either watching it or playing it if you're having the chance to as well. I think that's about it. So, thank you once again for watching. Thank you for playing. I am Dan Dan. We are the Explorers of Elsewhere. This has been live. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.